Are you tired of heartache and you're ready to get your life back? Grief is something that is very real for people after a breakup, and it can be in particular because of three core components of what actually causes grief. And in fact, these three very things, when you come to understand why they're causing you so much grief and why the heartache is so strong, can be three of the most important things that will not only give you your life back so you can feel like yourself again, but actually open up new doors and new experiences for more healing, more personal growth, and a much deeper understanding that can set your life in a totally new direction. So in today's video, we're going to talk about, yes, how to get over a dismissive avoidant attachment style fast, but we're going to talk about how to do this in a really specific way using core principles about grief. Understanding how grief actually functions and how it actually works will not only stop you from grieving so much and dealing with all that heartache, but it will tell you really important things about yourself. So I'm really excited to share this video with you here today. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Thais. I put daily videos out here on YouTube from the Personal Development School YouTube channel. I'm the founder of the Personal Development School, and I spent about 10 years or so in client practice and another 4 or 5 years since then in this field where I work online and more in a workshop seminar type format with our students of the Personal Development School. So I've seen thousands and thousands of clients, and this is actually one of the most powerful topics, in my opinion, in terms of our own healing. So first things first, what is grief? What does it actually consist of? Well, grief is essentially a void that the subconscious mind experiences, and it's consisting of these major components. So I want you to imagine for a second that you attach to somebody in a relationship. You're in a romantic relationship with them. Well, what ends up happening is your subconscious mind gets used to getting needs met through this person. And the subconscious mind is programmed through repetition and emotion. So over time, when you repeatedly get your needs met from somebody, let's say you're dating a dismissive avoidant and you start getting needs met from them, they call you, they chat with you, maybe they, have certain characteristics they bring into your life. Our subconscious mind gets conditioned to start relying on this person. And so what it does is it stops trying to get as many needs met through other people. And all of a sudden, when this person leaves your life, they take the needs that you're used to getting met with them, literally with the person, right? So they take your needs with them as they leave because your subconscious mind was attaching to them and relying on them. And so what happens is, let's say, for example, this person was meeting the need for connection, okay? Or maybe they made you feel important or special to them in some way. Well, now this need that you have for connection or to feel important or to feel special now feels totally taken away from your life just when that person leaves. And this void that you now experience, if you can imagine that somebody took these needs, they ran off with them, there's this void in your heart now. This void is what grief actually is. Now, it's not just the needs, okay? That's the important first part. That the needs they were meeting now being taken away leaves a void behind, and that void is what you're experiencing as grief, okay? There's a second part. The second part is the identity that you get to experience through the traits that you express when this person is in your life. So let's say, for example, that this person is, very spontaneous, or they are full of a sense of humor. You may laugh with them more often, banter with them more often, and all of a sudden you're expressing your more humorous side more frequently. And as a result of that, being expressed, when they leave, you also feel like you lose this ability to express that trait of your sense of humor. Or another variation for dismissive avoidance is that they bring the trait a lot of times into people's lives of feeling grounded. And, they're very grounding in terms of their personalities a lot of the time. So maybe you were somebody who was, very emotional and expressive. And maybe when you were with them, they helped ground you sometimes. And now you felt like a more grounded version of yourself. And now when they're gone, it feels like they took that part of yourself with you. So it's the first two big parts of why we grieve. There's still a really important third part, is that somebody brings needs in your life. And when they're gone, those needs are gone. Somebody brings their traits into your life, which allow you to foster that part of your identity more through expressing some of those main traits, right? They're more humorous. That makes you express your sense of humor more. They're more grounded. You become a little more grounded more often in their presence. And now they're gone, and it feels like they took that part of your identity that you were building with them. And the void that's left behind is what grief really is. Now, there's a third really important component, but before we even do that, I'm going to take you through an exercise. I want you to, on a piece of paper, write out sort of two columns, okay? In one column, I want you to have the needs that they met. And in the column next to it, I want you to write out how you can meet these needs in new ways in your life. Because what you're doing when you do that is you're filling up the void, right? If you're like, okay, they were meeting this need of, feeling seen and heard, or they were meeting this need of connection in some form, or to make me feel wanted or special. When that need is taken away, if you can find new, updated ways of getting this need met, you're on your path to healing. Okay. This is how we're going to actually collapse this process of grief that might just end, go on for days and months and sometimes years for people. We're going to meet these needs in the relationship to ourselves and also with other healthy people in our lives who we know we can rely on and go to, whether it's a family member, a close friend. And we're going to learn to express these needs to other people and also meet them in our own lives. And in doing that, we're filling up the void of grief that was left there. And this is going to help us move through the grieving process much more rapidly. You're going to do the same thing with traits, okay? What were the traits that this person brought into your life? Now, if you're sitting here and you're going, okay, this makes sense, but this is a big exercise. I'm a little, I don't know how to pull up the needs and traits. I will say there's a full course you can check out fully for free, just for a limited time, down below. And it's basically how to move through the grieving of a breakup. And it's designed, it actually has a list of all the traits and of all the needs that people meet. It has suggestions for how to meet these needs in your own life. But I'll just give you one example. Let's say somebody makes you feel seen and heard, and you're like, how do I meet that for myself? Well, that would be that you sit down and maybe you meditate daily. So you're connecting to your own feelings and sensations. You're seeing and hearing yourself, or you journal daily and you ask yourself, what the good and not so good parts of were of your day. So you're emotionally connecting to yourself, right? So there's lots of ways we can meet our own needs, and we can also ask for these needs from other people. But as we do this work and we actually meet these needs and we express these traits, we put a profound, we really speed up how much grief has to hurt. And it's not just that, and I'm still going to get to the point number 3 of grief in a second, but it's not just that. It's also that, when we're grieving something and when we're stuck in grief for so long, that's telling us something really important within ourselves. That's telling us where you're in learned helplessness with these really powerful traits that once you start expressing them, or once you get these needs met, it's going to be life-changing because you attach to somebody so strongly because you're actually attaching to these needs and these traits that they were bringing into your life. And these are meaningful things for you, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't hurt so much. So when you can take these into your own hands and start meeting these needs and expressing these traits in the relationship to yourself, we will see a huge needle mover, not just in cleaning up our own grieving process, but actually in opening up so many other aspects of our lives. Okay, so that's the first really important 2 parts. Point number 3 is we grieve because we tell ourselves really painful stories and they cause suffering. I want you to write out your painful breakup stories if you can, okay? If you want to pause the video, write them out. Things like, I'll never find somebody to love me again. I was never good enough. If only I did ABC, this never would have happened. It's all my fault the relationship ended. I'm unlovable. As long as you're telling yourself these stories, you will suffer. And you know how you know this? Because if somebody outside of you told you these stories about you, that would be extremely cruel, okay? And if somebody was walking around, following you around all day, telling you these things, that would be something that beats you down, right? It would really weigh heavy on you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, with all of the stress response neurochemicals that you'd be experiencing. So if you're doing this in your own internal reality all day in the relationship to yourself, no wonder you're suffering. So I want you to sit down and actually work through those stories. And we work through these things by questioning them. Can I really even know that these are true? Could there be more truth that's outside of this story, right? So if you're telling yourself, I'll never find somebody like this again, or it's all my fault that the breakup happened, could there be something, that's truthful other than just that? Could it also be, for example, that the other person had faults in why the breakup happened? It wasn't just you. And if so, write out those specific pieces of evidence. Like, what were the faults there that the other person had? So you're not just weighing it all on you. Or is it possible that you'll find love again? What are some reasons why you would find love again? And so by equilibrating those stories, That also helps us leave these painful stories behind that not only will sabotage your healing process, but as long as you're telling those stories, you're very emotionally unavailable to future dating partners. And we actually won't be fully ready for a new relationship until we shed these stories. So it's really important to do that work. Anyways, these are the three major parts of grief. I hope this is helpful for you. I hope you can understand that it's this void of these needs and these traits that our subconscious is attached to, plus these stories that we tell. And again, if you want to do a deeper dive into this, check out our How to Heal from a Breakup course fully for free, just for a limited time, using the link down below. And let me know any other questions you have around this content, around this topic. If you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe to this channel. I put daily videos out here for you. So hopefully you won't miss any. And thank you so much for stopping by and for watching.